Hello everybody and welcome to another video of R&R Partners. My name is Ruxandra. I am managing partner of R&R Partners law firm. I've been a lawyer member of the Bucharest Bar Association for over 10 years, and I am also a doctor in law, and I teach commercial law seminars to the students of the law school here in Bucharest. But enough about me, let's talk about the main subject for today, which is how long is actually a residency permit valid here in Romania. The question about the duration of residency permits in Romania is one of the most often questions we get from clients when they think about coming here in Romania and living here long term. Because speaking about durations, there's one initial thing we need to talk about, the difference between a visa and a residency permit for Romania. Speaking of visas, I will try to link somewhere here in a card our other video on our YouTube channel about visas in Romania. And also, please take into consideration that the video was actually filmed before Romania entered the Schengen zone. So a few changes have occurred. So I will also link a video here about the Schengen zone that we did here on the channel. Going back to the duration of the residency permit in Romania. When it comes to the visa, many people are actually confusing them. For example, if you are a non-EU citizen, you might come here in Romania on a visa which is valid for 3 months. And depending on the type of visa that you had, you can either prolong that duration or you can leave at the end of those 3 months. Not many types of visas can be made longer and turn into a residency. This is most common for D-type visa. So a D-type visa can be offered for work, studies, for example, and after you get it, while you still have a valid visa, you should also apply for residency here in Romania before your last month of visa expires. So while the visa is valid for 3 months, the residency is valid for much longer. But how long exactly? Here we need again to make a distinction. We have short-term residencies, many times referred to as temporary residencies, and we also have long-term residency in Romania, which is sometimes referred to as permanent residency, which might be a bit misleading, but I will get to that in a second. Now, firstly, so number one, temporary residency. For how long can I get this temporary residency? For example, I came to Romania because my spouse is Romanian and I can stay here longer, or maybe I came here to study or to work because I got a work offer. When I go and apply at the immigration office at EG, for how long will the residency be offered to me? Here we have a rule and an exception. Usually, temporary residencies are offered for 1 year. So after that year, you can make your residency longer, so reapply in order to extend it. Or if that is enough for you, you can go to another country or to your home country. But what about the exception? So the exception is that temporary residencies in certain situations can be offered for more years. The most often place where we see that is when it comes to family residency. So when you come to Romania in order to be reunified with your Romanian spouse, for example, you can get a residency for a longer duration. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I was speaking to a client. He came to us for citizenship application, so we were helping him to get naturalization here in Romania. And the first thing I asked him is, do you have temporary residency, permanent residency? What's your status? And he told me that for the first year here in Romania, he got temporary residency for 1 year, then he got 5 years, and then another 5 years. So the immigration office can sometimes offer you 5 years for family residency. But how do we know if the immigration office is going to give us 1 or 5 years residency, or can they give us 2 or 3 years? To be very honest here, the law is not very clear in the sense that there is not a specific legal act that could make the immigration office give you automatically the 5 years from the beginning. From our experience, many times they could give you, as our client in this case, they can give you firstly 1 year of residency, and then they give you 5 years because they see that you have lived here in Romania for a while, you intend on staying here, and you want to have a stable home for you and your spouse. And for this, one of the most often things we are asked about clients is, do I have any way of challenging the decision of the immigration office, for example? I heard that I can also get 5 years residency. I came here to be with my Romanian wife, and the immigration office gives me just 1 year. The answer is pretty simple, and it's no. Unfortunately, if you get 1 year residency, there's not really a way to make the immigration office take back that decision and offer you a longer residency permit. You will need to go with their decision, and maybe next year, if you are lucky and you show that you are really interested in coming and staying here in Romania long term, you will get the 5 years on your residency permit. And going back to the potential durations for the temporary residencies, we've also seen cases where you get more than 1 year, for example, 2 or 3, when it comes to work contracts. But of course, it's important for how long do you have this work permit and work contract in Romania. If your employer only offered you 1 year of employment, of course, the immigration office cannot issue for you a residency of 2, 3, or 5 years. So in short, the most you can get for work as duration for the residency is how long your work contract is valid. That's the most you can get. But again, like in the case of family reunification, sometimes you can just get 1 year and there's no way to challenge that decision of the immigration office. And you can also get residency longer than 1 year in the case of studies here in Romania, right? Because usually if you get, for example, a bachelor's degree here in Romania, you might have a contract with the university for 3 years. So that's about it regarding temporary residency. But what about permanent residency, so long-term residency? Permanent residency is not really permanent. I will try to leave somewhere here a link to our other video on our YouTube channel regarding permanent residency, where I go a bit more in depth about this specific type of document. But going back to the duration of the temporary residency, as I told you in the beginning of the video, the name permanent residency is a bit misleading because it is not permanent in any way. So you can get a long-term residency for 5 years if you are a non-EU citizen, and you can get permanent residency for 10 years if you are a citizen from the EU, or if you are a non-EU citizen with Romanian family members. Why would you be interested about permanent residency? Well, not only because it is longer, as you can see, it can go up to 10 years in certain cases, but also because it is a step between temporary residency and also if you are interested in the future to get Romanian citizenship, not to mention maybe the most important thing of them all, if you apply for permanent residency and you get it, then you do not need to further show the legal basis for which you came to Romania. What I mean to say by that is, for example, you got to Romania for a job, you have worked 5 years in Romania, you apply for permanent residency, then you are no longer dependent on your employer. You can continue to live here according to your permanent residency, even if you want to leave your job, or maybe, God forbid, if you are fired, you get the idea. And I will leave here a link from our other video on our channel regarding differences between temporary residency and permanent residency, because I don't want to get too much in depth on this subject. Now, you know the duration of residency in Romania, which is for temporary residency, usually 1 year, but in some cases it can go up to 5, especially in the case of family members. We have seen that most usually. And we have the second type of residency in Romania, which is long-term or permanent residency. It's basically the same thing, which can be offered in some cases for 5 years and in other cases for 10 years if you are a non-EU citizen in the standard situation, and 10 years if you are an EU citizen, or if you are non-EU but you have family in Romania. I hope this video clarifies your questions regarding the duration of residency here. And if you want to know more about residency in Romania, you can go to the playlist on our channel where you'll find many more useful resources. And of course, if you want our help for applying for residency in Romania, either temporary residency, permanent residency, or maybe in the end, citizenship, you can email us at office@rrpb.ro or directly book a legal consultation on our website. Up until next time, don't forget to follow us on social media. We post very often on Instagram, LinkedIn, and even Facebook, so you can be up to date with our activity. See you next time and have a lovely day. Bye bye.